Y'all, the end of the year is almost here, so let's check in on my stash. Hey folks, it's Mary, aka MercyTriumphs, and this is Slow Crochet. So as I'm recording today is December 16th, 2025, and it's about to get crazy around here. So I'm trying to record some videos a little bit ahead of time, but I thought, this is a video that I could do because I know that I'm not really going to start anything new. Things are not really going to change a lot between now and January 1st. I am the one that's in charge of the Christmas shopping, and I can tell you I didn't get any yarn for Christmas. I'm telling you that in advance, unless someone surprises me, but I don't have anything under the tree that's yarny. So what I want to talk about today is the state of my stash here at the end of 2025. I have tried in the past to kind of summarize my year in crochet. I don't know that I could do that this year really, just because things kind of move through my hands, and I don't really want to go back and rewatch my videos and see what exactly I've made. There's just a lot, right? So I can tell you briefly, I've made a lot of cardigans. I've enjoyed that. But I think a better indication of kind of where I am in my crochet is to check out my stash, because that will show me, or you too, kind of where I'm at, what projects I have that I want to do in the future, and if there's anything that I'm kind of lacking, or just really, I don't know, we all kind of are a little bit curious about other people's yarn. I love when I meet other creators to kind of see what they're attracted to and kind of what feels good to them. And then I also know there are people that maybe we should see on social media, maybe they're pattern designers, or maybe just other YouTubers, and they might have a lot of yarn, they might have a little yarn, and it's always interesting to see kind of what life is like for them, because we all approach this craft differently. We all are comfortable with a different amount of a stash of any art supply really. But yeah, I wanted to check in and kind of see where I'm at here at the end of the year, and kind of maybe see where I might be going in 2026. So this is my official state of the stash video. Let's move. All right, so there's where I normally sit to record. Here's the window. So I hope that the lighting is okay. But y'all, my first kind of piece of this video is to say, I don't really have a large stash. I have this organizer here, and it only goes down to there. And so there's not a lot of yarn on it. And the other thing is, I'm one of those people where I need it to be organized, in that things kind of need to be in a similar bin or bag, but I don't need things to be super organized or even super beautiful or aesthetic. I need them to be somewhat practical. So that is the guiding principle here. I no longer have my yarn just sitting out. I have them all in these kind of organza bags. And then tucked around, I have some little cedar blocks just as an extra measure of protection against critters. Not that we get a whole lot, but there are spiders that tend to love being inside in the warmth, and they like to come out, especially around this time of year. So I do want to protect against those. But yeah, you can kind of see just behind me, up at the top, I have some notions, I have some amigurumi stuff, I have some books. I have a project up here in this purple bag. That is a cowl, the Namari cowl. Y'all have heard me talk about it several times. I need to finish doing that, so that's one work in progress just to keep in mind. I also have a cardigan on the hook, I have a shawl on the hook, and then in this bag right here, and in this one, this is a scrap blanket that is kind of ongoing. I'm gonna keep working on it until I get done with all of this kind of border fabric. It's a hexagon join as you go. So if I think about it, I have 4 projects really that are works in progress. I have an extra project that is kind of for a different video. I'm not really counting that, but even if I did, I have 5 projects right now. So what about the rest of my stash? Let me get you down on the floor with me and I'll show you. Hope you can see down here. Just a few things, y'all. I really only have 1, 2, 3 kind of spaces, or maybe 6 total, where I'm keeping yarn. So how do I have it organized? I have natural fibers in here. This is predominantly cotton, but I don't have a lot. I have a little bit of crochet thread. I have this natural fiber that was gifted to me years ago, and it came from some makers from Peru. So that kind of is in here, but really this is generally my 4-weight cottons. Then I have some kind of random mixed fibers. I have some scarfy scraps. I have some Cascade Cherub, which is like a blend of acrylic and I think nylon. So a little bit of wool and acrylic blends, but that's it for those two. Just kind of some random things, but they are similar weights and similar fiber contents. Then I have a tiny little bit of stuffing here of polyfill, but then the rest of this is just 4-weight acrylics. I don't have a whole lot of colors of this left. These are my larger skeins, and I probably do need to go in here and like pull out some of the labels that no longer need to be there just to tidy that up some. In fact, let me do that right now. Yeah, I have some just yarn that I need to finish balling up. I have a hook that my child was using when they were sitting next to me making the 12 days of crochet kind of accessories. And this is what I had left of my retro stripe. So this is actually gonna go into my scraps, and that maybe will make its way into that scrap afghan. Some white, some orange, some black, some stuffing. Not a lot there. So, and I guess I had this brown too. I guess I'll put the brown back in there too. These are things that kids can pull from if they want to. That would, that would be fine. It's not anything that's earmarked for a particular project. This is a boy hook, vintage. It is USA 55 cents, size I. Love it. I love me my vintage hooks. I'm going to ball this up a little bit later. Okay. So the other things on this shelf are basically 4-weight acrylics. These are some smaller balls. They came in like a set, and some of them I've fully balled up, and some of them are scraps from larger projects or larger skeins. And I actually also tucked in here, just randomly, the leftover yarn from that teddy bear baby cardigan that I made. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but I think if I keep it in here, like this is what I might pull from for amigurumi. So maybe there'll be some amigurumi in the future. Finally, on this bottom here, I just have some anti-pilling or low pill fiber acrylics. These are some random brands. Some of them are from like Hobby Lobby clearances. And y'all, I haven't shopped a Hobby Lobby clearance at all this year. I don't think I've really done a lot of yarn shopping this year. I know I went to the Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival, and I think I've shopped a little bit here and there locally, but not a whole lot. So the state of my stash, to be honest, is kind of at one of the lowest points it's been in a lot of years. But yeah, all that's to say, there's my acrylics, there's my blends and cottons, and then we'll move on up to the next row. I don't know if that's better or worse. Well, you'll let me know, won't you? Please do let me know. Hey, and just as an aside in general, please do let me know if you see anything that I can improve in my videos. I really do appreciate that feedback. It always helps me grow. All right, so what do we have on these shelves? I kind of mentioned before, I have some scraps to do for my afghan here. I'm just doing scraps of these little hexagons, and then I'm doing join as you go. There's one of those cedar blocks. But what I have left is this yarn here. This is the last ball that I had. At some point I got just a whole bunch, like a blanket's worth of this, what is it? It's like a Premier yarn maybe, or maybe it's a Caron, I don't even remember, but I already had made a blanket using this. And so then I was using it to do a scrap afghan. And you see I have these stitch markers that are attaching some of my hexagons to the blanket, just because I wanted to make sure I had them spaced out the way I wanted them to. So this is something, again, I'm gonna go until I'm done with this, so who knows how big it will actually be. But I do see potential that I could finish it maybe around the holidays. That would be fun, because I think this afghan is just gorgeous, and I think it would be a great one to have like all year round in the house. Also, I love this bag. It's one of my absolute favorite colors of green. I don't know what this brand is, or how this bag entered my home, but it's here And once I get that done, then I can have that bag back and use it as a project bag. All right, what do we have on this other side? This one is a bit more interesting. This is like 4-weight wool yarns. I have a Lucky brand from Joann's that I never got into. It is black. It is a cotton wool, 224 yards. Anyway, I haven't gotten into this one yet, but I want to. That one is special. The others though, I have like a random Uruguay chunky. This is, it is 10% silk, 20% alpaca, and 70% merino. I thought that would be beautiful just as an accent color from time to time. And then I just have like some extra scraps of a Malabrego Rios, that kind of thing, but generally kind of like 4 weights in the scrappy, just one ball kind of family. So that's that one. The next one is predominantly these Willow Dailies. This was the yarn that I had in a mystery bag, and to be honest, it was a great learning experience because I got some yarn that I wouldn't have picked out these colors otherwise. Some of them, like I think this one would be my favorite. This is a really beautiful blue. The other blue in here is also really nice, but I don't really do a lot of kind of aquatic or Caribbean flavored things. I'm kind of a more muted person. So I have these and I'm looking forward to kind of figuring out how to work them together or what the exact project will be for them. But it is a DK weight yarn. It's a superwash wool. It's not superwash merino, but those, because they're all similar, they get their own special bag. Then I do have my kind of random 3 weights. These are all some kind of wool or wool blends. Some of them I've started working little projects with and I need to kind of pull them back out. Some of them I haven't, and they've come from all sorts of different places. So again, this is where I'm going to pull from if I want like something kind of scrappy, or if I just want something that is like a 1 ball or like a smaller weight project. I have something in here that I was kind of toying around with that I want to kind of make up into something later. Again, I have another Joann's in black. This was an Eddie Bauer Woolpaca, and it's 80% superfine merino, the superwash merino, and 20% alpaca. So that definitely will have a purpose in the future on something hopefully really lovely. I just haven't quite decided yet. But yeah, random little 1 skeins or scraps of more like 3 weight, or maybe projects that I started and I haven't really finished and I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with them. I then have less fancy 4 weight yarns, 4 weight wools, or maybe even 3 weight. Some of those that are kind of on the border. So like your Lion brand Fisherman's Wool, I have a couple of skeins of that. I have a Hooks and Needles wool that I got at my local Yarny thrift store, so I never indulged in those boxes, but I thought that was a really beautiful color. And then just some other little bits and pieces here. So the theme is like trying to keep similar fibers, similar weights, and similar like quantities of yarn together. And then finally, these are my finer weight yarns. These are mostly scraps and they are mostly natural fibers. Again, with the black one-off skeins, this is good for me to kind of see. I have a Alpaca Prima. This is by Plymouth Yarns. This is black. It's like a 2 weight or a fingering weight yarn. Yeah, approximately 363 yards, and it's 100% alpaca. So a lot of black here. I think I'll have to be working with that in the future, which is, you know, the bane of crocheters is working with black yarn, but there's so much that could be done. And even though those are one-off skeins, I still do want to hang on to them because I think there's a lot that you can do with 1 skein. I just have to kind of have the head space to do it. So I'm going to take you next to this last shelf, and then that's really it. How is this for a view? You see the edge of my table here, you see my window. But yes, these are my last 2 bits of yarn. Now, this little guy, this is my Cuthbert, my Saint Cuthbert, who's been guarding my cardigans. Well, I say cardigans, the first one is not a cardigan, but it is 3 skeins of this Remu wool from New Zealand, where I guess the possum from Australia moved over to New Zealand. It is not indigenous, And so it wreaks havoc on the indigenous flora and fauna. So in New Zealand, they take the possum fur and turn it into wonderful fibers like this as a way to kind of reuse or use something good, bring something good out of this menace to their native flora and fauna. But anyway, this is 60% New Zealand merino and 40% possum. I have 3 of these skeins, one of them in this color and then 2 in a navy blue. Those have their own special bag because I do have a scarf that I want to make, but I don't have the bandwidth for it right now, but I do know what this is going to be in the future. Next I have, this is upcycled alpaca blend, which was a sport weight. It's by Knit Picks or We Crochet. So each of these balls has 273 yards. So I'm thinking, I bet I'll be able to get a shawl out of this as well as a cardigan. But in the meantime, all of those 9 balls of yarn are just hanging out in here. So that is a cardigan in progress. My last cardigan in progress, well, it's not in progress yet. The last cardigan that I want to do, and I have a pattern picked out, finally, I know what I want to do. But I got this a couple of years ago from Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival, Passion Yarns. I got 2 kind of colors of it, these kind of sherbet colors, and then I got 3 skeins of this kind of muted, almost natural with like a undertone, like a creamy undertone to it. Really, really beautiful. I cannot wait to work with these, but they're fingering weight, and so I kind of have to like get my mind around using fingering weight for a cardigan. But I'm gonna do it. This one is a sport weight. That's good. I've been doing a lot of like 3-weight cardigans, but this is a 2-weight. So like I'm gradually gonna get myself down in size. So definitely goal for 2026 is to make up this cardigan. That would be wonderful. And if I made it like before the Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival, maybe I could wear it there and I could show the hand dyer the beautiful piece that I finally made after so many years with her yarn. Okay, so the kind of the theme of these 2 shelves is that each bag has a project in and of itself. And so now, what are the projects here? The rest are shawls. I have 4 balls of Yarn Bees Finesse in the color Hummus. This was a Hobby Lobby clearance yarn, 350 yards per skein. And this is called a 3-weight, but it seems more of a 2. So that is a shawl. I have 3 balls again from Joann's. Rest in peace, Joann's. We miss you already. I have 3 balls of K&C Superwash Wool Luxe. This is a proper 3-weight, I would say, but they're calling it a 2. It's a roving style. Each of these has 215 yards, so that will be a shawl. In the same bag, because it's similar colors, I have George and Rose. This is a malachite color. This was, I think, the final, one of the last pieces that my friend brought me from her time in England and York. This is from a shop in Knaresborough. So yes, this one will definitely be a shawl. It'll be maybe like a boomerang style, but that in itself is a shawl. So that gets me up to 3 shawls. In here, I have some cotton or natural fiber blends. I definitely have this guy. I started it with the shawl, but I'm gonna do something else with it. This was a Hirschner's Mill End Cake. That is a cotton and acrylic blend. That will be a shawl. And in the same bag, I have Royal Cotton 8-4. I have 2 in this gray and 1 in this kind of pinky gray, little bit of sage green in there. Each of these, how much yardage is it? It's 170 meters. So the 3 of those together, again, can make like a smaller boomerang, like a neckerchief style shawl. That's 2 more shawls. So now I'm up to 5. And then finally, I have this big old cone that I picked up from my local Yarny thrift store. Look at this, you guys. Super thin, like fingering weight there, but again, must be a shawl. It will go and go and go and grow and grow and grow. So I'll have to find a good like yarn eater pattern and see if I can make something really wonderful with this. Something maybe that's both yarn eater and also not too complicated, because the yarn itself, I mean, I think from a distance, it'll kind of play out as kind of pinkish purple colors, but it color changes so frequently that I don't want something where like you can't see the design because of the yarn. It has to be a good match there. So let's see here, is that 6? 6 shawls, 2 cardigans, one's already on the hook, another shawl that's already on the hook. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good year. I like where I'm at. In terms of what is missing from my stash, probably just a little bit of like basic acrylic. I don't have a lot of colors of like 4-weight acrylics right now, so that could be something that I add to the stash. Maybe some just yarn, maybe like some Hobby Lobby yarns, or even some like Red Heart Super Saver. I don't have a lot of that right now. What else? I could always do with some more yarns that are like low pill or easy care. Those would be great for the hats that I like to make. Well, natural fibers wise, I've been thinking about bamboo and thinking about linen and thinking about just some other fibers that I haven't really used before. So that might be an interesting place to go in the future. Maybe just be intentional about that in 2026. So y'all, that is it. That's the entirety of my stash. It's not super well aesthetically organized, but it's organized in a way that I feel confident that it's gonna give me longevity. No critters are gonna get in. It gets a lot of air and it's not like compressed, and I can kind of see what I have and pretty easily access it. So yeah, to me, that's not a lot of yarn, but I do pretty much have like a dedicated purpose for all of it. I have some projects that I definitely want to do. I'm equipped if there's things that come up that I want to try something new, maybe a little amigurumi, something like that. But yeah, I'm excited to kind of see where 2026 will take me. Please do let me know, do you have any kind of crochet resolutions or yarny resolutions for 2026? I tend not to do resolutions. I just kind of like to have a rhythm and to kind of like move in a direction, but I don't want to put anything too much like pressure-y on myself because I really still just want to enjoy this craft. Yeah, that's where I'm going. Where are you going? And what are you excited about in terms of crochet? Also, tell me about your stash. Like, I don't think that there's any need to be ashamed of having yarn or having art supplies. You know, the thing is, like, if we were watercolor painters, you'd have a lot of brushes because each brush gives you something different. You might have a lot of different tubes of paint because each color, even though you might be blending your own colors, like each one is going to bring out something different. You know, these are art supplies and you don't begrudge an artist their studio. So yeah, I'd love to hear, what do you think about your stash? And how do you feel about it? How do you feel about just yarn in general? The shame around it, the guilt around it, or just the peace that we've made with it. I'd love to hear that too. Because that's the other thing too, y'all. In the comments, I learned so much. You guys have so much wisdom to share, and it's such a beautiful thing to get to connect with y'all there. So on that note, thank you so much. Thank you to all of my subscribers. Everyone who's taken the time to leave a comment and connect with me. Thank you to those of you who have liked the video or shared it out or anything like that. That really does encourage me. And if for whatever reason I'm not your cup of tea, thank you so much for listening this long. I really do appreciate you, and I do hope I'll see you again soon. Bye! Next time, I'm not going to be sitting on the floor.